Hello there everyone, it's me Harry, and this is the second part of my GameCube game collection video. So in the first part I showed off all the games that were released in 2002, and now we're going off to the games that were released in 2003, which I have quite a few more of than in 2002, but the 2004 to 6 section is the smallest. But anyways, let's start it off. So we're going to be starting off with another Infogrames title, Men in Black 2 Alien Escape, a port of another PlayStation 2 title. Developed by Infogrames Melbourne House, published by Infogrames, and released on February the 7th, 2003. And it's a multi-language packaging. Nice bright green disc too. Also released on the same day is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which was released on the PS2, I think, a few months before the GameCube version. And here's the back. And it's developed and published by LucasArts. And it's meant to be like a prequel to Star Wars Attack of the Clones, but since these older Star Wars games aren't canon anymore, and it's just basically its own story about Jango Fett. And on the back is an ad for the Star Wars The Clone Wars video game, which is also a non-canon title. It doesn't have anything to do with the Cartoon Network short-form series as well, that came out a year later, in 2003. Released on the 14th of February 2003 is Mary-Kate and Ashley Sweet 16 License to Drive, the Olsen twins' only 6th gen adventure, also on the PS2. Developed by N-Space and published by Acclaim Entertainment. And yeah, it's pretty much an obvious title of its time. And on the back is an ad for ZooCube. And there we go. Also released on the same day is Shrek Extra Large, which is a enhanced version of the Xbox launch title of the same name. Well, I mean, it's just called Shrek, but there you go. It's sort of a different title altogether in some way. And yet, for some reason, it's also misleading because it's got Donkey on the front, but he's not even in this game. Developed by DICE Canada, Digital Illusions Canada, and published by TDK Media Active. There's the back. Nice bright Shrek green colour for the manual, for the disc. And there's nothing on the back. Also released on the same day is Casper Spirit Dimensions, which is another PS2 port. Developed by Lucky Chicken Games, I believe the company is called. And published by TDK Media Active as well. Let's see, yeah, it doesn't list down who developed it, but I do believe it is Lucky Chicken Games. I do like the disc colour though. It's a nice murky green. Yep, it is Lucky Chicken Green. So, yeah, Lucky Chicken Games. So, yep, I was right about that all along. Released on the 28th of February 2003 is Monopoly Party, which came out on the PS2 and the Xbox a little while earlier. Developed by Runecraft, published by Infogrames. A nice bright red disc this time. So it's basically like a big party kind of version of Monopoly where everyone plays at once instead of everyone playing at like singular times. Next up is Sonic Mega Collection, released on March the 7th, 2003. The very first Sonic compilation released for a non-Sega console. Developed by Sonic Team, published by Sega, distributed by Infogrames. And it's kind of funny because the Infogrames logo is on the front of the packaging, which is kind of unusual, but there you go. Some of the Namco titles had that as well. Released on the same day as well, although some sources say it came out in February, but I actually believe it came out in March, is Disney Sports Football, developed and published by Konami. Here we are. And another title from the same series, also by the same companies, Disney Sports Skateboarding. I am missing Disney Sports Basketball, and I don't think I'll ever get that one because it's a very, very rare game. Zapper 1 Wicked Cricket, which is basically the second sequel to the Frogger remake, but this time starring an original character because Konami got back the rights to Frogger. Developed by Blitz Games, published by Infogrames, released on the 14th of March 2003. It came out with the other versions of the game as well. And this has also been another one of my long-running GameCube titles. I've had this one for quite a long time as well. Pac-Man World 2. This came out a little while after the PS2 version did in Europe. The Xbox version never did. Developed by Namco Home Tech and published by Namco and distributed by EA, but in some cases I think EA actually did publish this game in Europe under a co-publishing deal. Although the back wouldn't even imply that, because normally with EA titles they would normally include all sorts of different things, but the inside of the manual says so. The Sum of All Fears, developed by Red Storm. I think it may have been ported by another company and published by Ubisoft. So this is based on the Tom Clancy book and the film of the same name. It's a port of a PC game. This came out in North America as well, but the PS2 version of it only came out in Europe. But I don't own that one, I only own this one. But it's not a great game. And that's saying something. It's just a lousy GameCube port. And that came, and yeah, both of those came out on the 21st of March 2003. I forgot to mention that. Next up is World Tour, released on the 28th of March 2003. Developed by Papalaya Studio, published by Vivendi Universal Games and Crave Entertainment. This was a co-publishing deal. Not much else to say about this game. It's quite a common title, actually, for the GameCube. But a title that is not actually common at all, it's actually quite a rarity, is Superman Shadow of Apocalypse. The PS2 version you can easily find, but this version, nuh-uh. It's quite a rare title in PAL format. Developed by Infogrames Sheffield House and published by Infogrames, under the Atari banner, by the way. And released on May the 2nd, 2003. So it's an enhanced port of the PS2 version. And I actually got this pretty cheap online years ago. I got it from a German Amazon seller who was selling this and some other title for cheap. So there you go. Another European exclusive title is But Ugly Martian Zoom or Doom. Developed by Runecraft and published by Vivendi Universal Games, based on the TV series of the same name. Released on May the 9th, 2003. Nice purple disc this time. And on the back is an ad for But Ugly Martian's BKM battles. BKM standing for butt kicking mode. And there was a PC game as well, but which I also own as well. So there you go. Enter the Matrix, developed by Shiny Entertainment and published by Infogrames, released on May the 15th, 2003 as a tie-in to the Matrix, the second Matrix film that I've forgotten the name of. Reloaded, I think. Yeah, The Matrix Reloaded. And it's a 2-disc game because the game was too big to fit on the little one little mini disc, so they just put it on 2. Some GameCube games did that. I think another example I could give out was Resident Evil 4. And even then, it's still the best version of the game. And then here's another rarity, Ikaruga. Developed by Treasure and published by Infogrames under the Atari banner once again. Released on May the 23rd, 2003. There we are. Oh. Back of the manual, there's nothing there. It's just a distributor contact information. Next up is Hulk. Developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Vivendi Universal Games, released on the 13th of June 2003. So this is a tie-in to the Hulk film, and it's like a predecessor to The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which came out 2 years later, and on the back is an ad for the Game Boy Advance Incredible Hulk title. This isn't a game, but I'll include it anyway. It's the Game Boy Player boot disc, which is required to make the Game Boy Player work unless you've modified it. Nothing much else is in here aside from a few of those. And then next up is Black and Bruised, a fighting game, which was published by Vivendi Universal Games under a contract with Majesco. This came out on 27th of June 2003. Yeah, the Game Boy Player came out on the 20th of June. So, this is developed by Digital Fiction. Next up is V-Rally 3. So this came out a little while after the Xbox version, but a whole year after the PS2 version. So developed by Eden Studios and published by Infogrames under the Atari banner and released on 27th of June 2003 as well. There we are. Nothing on the back. Just the generic shiny disc. Now here's a title that you may remember me showing off last year when I was complaining about people scalping this game. And it's Piglet's Big Game, which I got a couple of years ago, before the whole fiasco happened. Developed by Doki Denki and published by Gotham Games, which was a Take-Two interactive publishing label for budget titles. And this came out on 4th of July 2003. Quite a decent little title, actually. They put quite a bit of effort into it. Super Buster Move All-Stars, an enhanced port of Super Buster Move for the PlayStation 2. Developed by Taito. I think it was ported by another Japanese developer and published by Ubisoft. And here's the back. And for some reason, the main character, Mog, is, like, negative. They miscoloured her for some reason on the back cover. I don't know why. This came out on 5th of September 2003. Yeah, nothing on the back. WWE WrestleMania 19. Developed by Ukes, published by THQ. And this came out on 19th of September 2003. So it's the second of the WWE games released on the GameCube. And the back has an ad for Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy. Next up is Drone Racers, which also came out on the same day. Developed by Attention to Detail and published by Lego Interactive and Electronic Arts. So this is an enhanced port of the PS2 version of the game with some extra content in it. But it's just not a great game. It's just insanely boring. Here's the back. Next up is Soul Calibur 2. Developed and published by Namco and distributed by Nintendo in Europe. This came out on the 26th of September 2003. So this is the version that has Link as the special guest character. And this was actually the highest selling version of the game because it had Link in it. So that's something interesting to note. Bionicle, developed by Argonaut Games and published by Electronic Arts and Lego Interactive again. And this was released on 17th of October 2003, so I believe all the versions of the game were released on separate days. From the different week, and on the back there's an ad for Bionicle Mask of Light, which is the film that the game is based on. Worms 3D, the very first Worms title in, well, 3D, obviously. Developed by Team 17 and published by Sega. And this came out on October the 31st, 2003. There we are. And the ad on the back is for Sonic Heroes. It's just kind of fitting because I think Sonic Heroes had an ad for Worms 3D on the back of its manual, but we'll get to see that in part 3. Dragon Ball Z Budokai, an enhanced port of the PS2 title of the same name, developed by Dimps and published by Bandai, distributed by Atari. This came out on the 14th of November 2003. There we are. There's an Atari logo on the manual for some reason, but not on the back of the packaging. And on the back of the manual is an ad for the Legacy of Goku 1 and 2. There we are. There's the disc again. Also released on the same day is Mario Kart Double Dash. A very, very fun GameCube game indeed, and it comes in red packaging. Mario Red. How charming. And then here's the disc and the manual. Nothing on the back of the manual. Beyblade V4 Super Tournament Battle. So this was developed by a company called AI and published by Atari. And this was released on 28th of November 2003. So it was one of the two Beyblade video games that came out on consoles, the other one being a PS1 title, which was actually quite late. And the back is just a advert for Beyblade toys. It's in German for some reason, even though the manual is multi-language. I don't know why, but there you go. And last but not least in this video is Sierra's The Hobbit. Developed by Inevitable and published by Vivendi Universal Games and / Sierra. So this came out on the same day as well, the 20th of November 2003. And there we are. Here's the disc and the manual. And on the back of that is an ad for Crash Nitro Kart. So there we are. That's part 2 done. I managed to get this one done much quicker than before. So in part 3, we're going to take a look at the games from 2004 to 2006, and then I'm done. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.